All right, so what to look for if you suspect that your baby or toddler has a diastasis, has something going on, and what are you going to be seeing? So as we have talked in other videos that, you know, it's fairly common because we're all born with a diastasis, but it should start to close up. What you're going to notice if it's not closing up is a trench right down their midline, a little tenting that happens when they scream or cry or poop, or when they're trying to roll or trying to wiggle or trying to lift their head up like in a crunch, or even if you try to, you know, have them kind of pull up a little bit, they'll tense up and it'll tent out instead of flattening down. That's one thing you're going to see. Sometimes people will ask us, you know, well, their belly button never really became an innie. It's always been an outie, or it's poking out. So we want the belly button to retract in and kind of tether down, and that's what gives it innie, you know, kind of shape where it kind of pops in like a belly button. If the two sides never came together and the umbilical trunk never got to tether down, then what can happen is the belly button can be a little bit of an outie or a lot of an outie. It depends on how much pressure is being pushed out on that little abdominal wall in a way that it takes what should have been tethered down, and now that ball of scar tissue bulges out. Now, is that an umbilical hernia? Theoretically it is. In theory it is, because it's the umbilicus and it's herniating, which means it's moving out of where it was supposed to be. It's not the same as a tear in the abdominal wall that causes it through the umbilicus, that causes organs or fat or something to get stuck in it and poking out. That can be life-threatening. We don't want that to happen. But that little outie belly button can also become really sensitive because it's very tender, and it's supposed to be kind of protected inside that little belly button, that little hole. So if it's poking out and you have that tenting, it's really common for doctors to say, oh, it's a little umbilical hernia, we could do a quick little surgery. Sometimes that's appropriate and sometimes it's not, or sometimes you might want to wait a little bit longer until they're a little older before you do something like that. If they're showing that tenting down the middle with or without the little detached umbilicus, the little pokey out outie belly button, then there are things you can do to help those muscles come together. And a surgery is going to only make it more difficult for them to connect to those muscles. So we want to give you some strategies to help those muscles come together and start to heal. And then if it's still looking like the umbilicus is not retracting in or not creating an innie belly button, and it's out and it's vulnerable and it's tender, and you want to have that repaired, the repair is going to be much more mild, and it's going to be based on a strong core as opposed to already a weak, vulnerable, muscle imbalanced core. All right, so you'll see that tenting, you'll see it more often than you would think, and if it's not getting better, then it's probably something that you want to consider getting help for. And we have a course called the Tummy Team Toddler course, and it's a very effective way for parents just like you to help your little one get the tools and strategies they need, and you to have little things you can do with your baby and your toddler to help that muscle start to heal. Okay? And we have those resources for you here at the Tummy Team.